Good morning, everybody. Orin J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to do our meta analysis. We're going to look at the top tier units in the highest level of PvP in War of the Visions for January 2024. Has the meta shifted away from mages being played the most? Are Greatswords rising in popularity with A2? Where do the elements stand? We're going to take a look at all of those things. Now, I mentioned A2. A2 is a good enough unit to impact the meta, and Ice is an element with enough other good units in it that she has plenty of helpers. Greatswords, Ice, there's a lot going on here with A2. In fact, the data we're looking at here is from the top 50 guilds in the global game, what they're using on offense and defense, and here is my current offense team for guild battle. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this at something. Luckily, and this might not be the greatest example to use, since I'm throwing this at a wind team, I have elemental advantage here, and to be honest, I don't fight wind very much. I just haven't seen a ton of wind in guild battle defenses for a really long time, I should say for a really long time. Since I switched to ice offense, I haven't really seen as much wind. Okay, here we go. I would certainly love to not have 27-hour load times when I'm filming a video. I talked a whole bunch like during the loading screen, and then I realized I'm just gonna have to stop because it's just taking forever. Anyway, this might not be the greatest test of my team since I am running straight up elemental advantage right here, but they are using the new Wind Veritas, who has proven very strong, especially when paired with Flagbearer Glassy, and there's definitely some hate shenanigans here. I'm not sure if that somehow that Glassy is pulling everybody to the right side. I've definitely never seen this movement on my team, which it's not a terrible thing because it is going to allow Velas to give my whole team haste. A lot of times with this combo that I'm running, he's been unable to do that. So let's see if A2 could give us a good show. Glassy's gonna move in. I'm gonna get the ice attack buff right there. That's big. And look, that shows you right there just how powerful Flagbearer Glassy is. This is the newest meta ice unit in the game, and she still was able to mostly shrug off a lot of what she was doing to him. So Flagbearer Glassy still looking good. Wind Veritas unable to return the damage, and then there's the huge A2 damage. Again, I know it's elemental advantage for me, but I don't have much of a choice here, right? Like I'm showcasing the guild battle for today. I didn't really know what that was going to be before I walked into it, to lead into the stats from guild battle that we're going to get later. Now, I obviously am healthy enough to run another attack, and I'll probably just do that in the background. I'm not going to make you watch another ice beat down here with my A2. So let's break down the meta a little bit. First, I want to look at what was popular last month. I say last month, December 2023. Technically, we're just barely into February, and we're going to be looking at January's data, but here's where 2023 left us. And if you look over at the right, on the top here, this is Guild Wars offense teams for the top 50 guilds in global. This is Guild Wars defense teams for the top 50 guilds in global. We're not going to spend a ton of time looking at last month's, but you see some familiar faces. By far, the most popular team comp was your Helena, your Roth, and your Vivi. Mix in a little Addison Ray, mix in a little something else. That was the dominant team comp that we saw on both offense and defense. On defense, you mix in a little Wingstern. Sephiroth refuses to go away. That man has been near the top of this game for a very, very long time, so really paying off that investment. Now, if we switch this to this last month, so this is January 1st to today, so all the way through February 4th, you see a little bit of a dip in the Helena in both offense and defense for those top 50 guilds. So the rise of A2, which you can see, here's A2 coming out, here's A2 rising. This blue line is A2 climbing in the polls, and she's up there at what? She ends basically this data set at 6th. She goes from off the list to 6th. She's carrying new Asterius up there with her. As a fellow Greatsword user, you're seeing Winter Roth on there. Yeah, Winter Roth make it a show. Elias still hanging out in there, and then you see some other familiar faces with King Bradley, Summer Glassy, and Flagbearer Glassy hanging out as well. Even on defense, look, sharp decline of the Mage Trio team right here towards the end of the month that coincides with the rise of A2, the rise of Greatswords, and the rise of Ice. Now, if we were going to look at Ice element in general, like who is A2 elevated from the Ice element? Who is she bringing kind of back into the meta? It's not a huge surprise. She's bringing the new Howlet with her, Howlet the Heaven's Blade. That's what I'm running, and she's bringing Velis. I think people are really rediscovering, and you can see Velis's line, the third one from the top on this blue chart up here, really spike up, kind of fluctuate down and fluctuate back up a little bit. People are realizing this guy can still do a lot of great supporting. Some other units that I expected to see on here, definitely going to be Frievia and Alaya, and then you can see the other Ice units that are sprinkling in to those top 50 guild battles. If they're on this page, they have seen use in guild battle offense. That's what we're looking at here. I can switch the defense to Ice as well. Once again, same cast. Whoa, excuse me, same cast of characters there as well. Okay, let's take a look at Light. With Helena still dominating Light, it's the same basic cast of characters with a slight showing right here of the of our new Lucio sneaking into the thing. Lucio the Brilliant. So 3.1% of teams in the top 50 are running new Lucio. I expect more of that as he gets built. I do think he will continue to climb, but I don't know if he will ever make it into that like overall top 10 that is, you know, this right here, right? This is the cream of the crop. Notice Bradley still on there. So who from Earth are still being run? Bradley, Dialdo, Halloween Lucio, Renoa, and 2P on a very sharp rise. So notice 2P's line. It's the one right here where my mouse is that goes up towards Renoa. I wonder if 2P doesn't drag Earth Evade or Earth Quasi Evade to the top 10. Like, I wonder if next month when we do this, we don't see Bradley, 2P, and maybe, you know, Pumpkin Spice Frederica. I kind of doubt that, but maybe Halloween Lucio. And you see some of these wind units drop off. Like, your wind units is the normal cast of characters, right? Flagbear, Glassy, and Sottily. But you can see them tailing off towards the end of last month, beginning of this month, even with the rise of Wind Veritas. Now, I do think they will level out to a nice place. I think Wind Veritas will only get stronger as more of his kit gets released, but I wonder if, even though they represent the elemental counter to Earth, I wonder if Earth doesn't overtake them in terms of that top 10. Lightning, definitely an element you're still seeing, and there's your three, right? Alaya, New Asterius, and Winter Roth. After that, there's some Alphon, some Lightning, some Resnick working their way in there, but those are definitely your top 3 Lightning units in the game. Dark, it's your Dark Mages. Let's get those Lightning units off. It's your Dark Mages, and then there's Sephiroth. The dude just refuses to go away, and I imagine with our new Lunar New Year Oberon unit being a katana user, if Sephiroth doesn't find some work with him in the new vision cards or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised there. I don't think Sephiroth's going away. And then you can see there's a sprinkling of some other, you know, Dwayne's, Lemures, all of that. Okay, if we were to zoom this out a little bit, let's say instead of doing top 50 guilds, we did top 500 guilds. What's that look like last month? Well, it didn't really load it. Let's refresh the page. The site messed up or I clicked the wrong thing. Here's your top 500 guilds, and let's look at the top 50 units played. So here you go, top 50 units played. That's too many. Let's do top 25. That gets too hard to look at. Here's your top 25 units for the top 500 guilds. It's not different. The only real big difference is Sephiroth climbing up next to Helena. That's not a surprise. If you think about in the top 500, you have a lot less sweaty people, like people who are trying a little bit less hard. Sephiroth was massively popular. And then if you look down here, like I'll click the lightning element, notice how popular Cloud is in the top 500 compared to how popular Cloud is in the top 50. In the top 50, Cloud falls all the way down to this group at the bottom. In the top 500 guilds, Cloud climbs all the way up here just because of how popular he is. Yes, you can definitely still use him. There is Squall. Now, Squall getting some use in top 500. Does Squall even show up in the top 50? Come on, my man, Squall, you can do it, brother. No, I could. Oh, yeah, he's got 13 uses. Most of those are me. Like, honestly, that's a lot of me using him right there. No, I'd have been more back here. I switched to mages at some point, but I do appreciate my Squall players out there in the top 50. So here's your top 500, your top 25 units. You could take a look at that right here if you want to. It's most of the same people with those very popular Final Fantasy VII characters also creeping in. So those are meta units. That's what we're looking at in terms of the meta. Let's go back to top 10 for last month on Guild Wars Offense. There you go. If you're playing those units, you're basically at the top of the game. My advice would be, if you don't have enough units to make a full team of this, or maybe you're a water player or something like that, or a fire player even. Hey, Shalza Soul, they still are out there. Fire's not in a great spot though. Water, hey, if you have your Summer Glassy, you can still mix in Summer Glassy Ferris and New Mont. You do see that. If you can find one or two of the units in the top of the meta, you can essentially pair those with anything else. Sort of how like right now I'm pairing A2 with those other ice units, but I'm not the only one. The ice units are clearly on the rise. Wind units are clearly on the down, and if we look at just the overall, your mages look to be leveling out. I would say at the end of next month, my prediction will be those mages will still all be in the top 10 and will maybe find themselves slightly more towards the middle of the pack as hopefully the meta levels out a bit. Still, there you go. Take from this data what you will. That is the meta breakdown for the month of January, the most played units. If there's something you'd like to see in terms of like a different way of covering this, let me know. I can sort through this data in a lot of different ways. You just let me know which ways you think are the most useful to you. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.